Hello students, welcome to the biology class. We are continuing with our same chapter, how do organisms reproduce. In our previous session, we discussed about the plant reproduction, in which we discussed about the asexual or the vegetative reproduction of plant, and today we are going to start sexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is a type of reproduction that involves two individuals of different sexes, that is male and female. The fusion of male and female gametes results in the formation of zygote. The fusion of male and the female gamete is known as fertilization, and that results in the formation of zygote. The formation of the zygote is the main feature of your sexual reproduction. Characteristics of sexual reproduction or the main features of the sexual reproduction. It is biparental, that is two parents are involved, one male and one female. Gametes are formed, that is male gametes and female gametes, and they are produced by meiotic division, means by the reductional division. Therefore, the gametes, they have haploid, means half the number of chromosomes. For example, if the parent, means the male and the female, they are having a 46 chromosomes, then male and the female gamete will have 23 chromosomes. For example, in the pea plant, that is the sweet pea plant, having the 14 chromosome, but the gamete of the pea plant will have only the 7 chromosomes. So that is the haploid, and the 14, that is 2n, is known as diploid. Fusion of male and the female gamete from two different parents, that is male and the female, takes place. As a result of the fusion, means the fertilization, a diploid zygote is formed. Again the 2n is there, the male and the female, which is 2 and 2n. Gametes are N and N. N and N fuse to form the diploid zygote, means again the same number of chromosomes will be there as in the parent. Zygote undergoes the repeated meiotic division, means the equational division, and to form the daughter organism. Daughter organisms are genetically different from the parents but resemble in certain features, means in the sexual reproduction the daughter organism is similar to the parent but not the carbon copy of the parent. They show some variations. For example, we all are human beings. We all are same because we are having the same position of our eyes, ear and nose. But still we can be distinguished from one another. Because of that variation, we are different, but still we are having a resemblance of the certain features. That's why we are belonging to the same species. Significance of sexual reproduction. It results in new combination of genes and increase the genetic variation and diversity of characters, because the two male and the female gamete, they will fuse, and during the fusion they may form with the new diversities or the genetic variation. And variation plays a very important role for the evolution, means from simple to complex, and with the help of the evolution there is the origin of the new species. It maintains the chromosome number in the future. As I already discussed, that the male and the female gamete, they have the half the number of chromosome as the male and the female parent. Then the gametes, they fuse to form the same number of the chromosome in the zygote, and that's why the number of the chromosomes will be maintained in the future. So the very important, and today's topic is sexual reproduction in plants. So we have discussed in our previous session that the plant is made up of roots, stems, leaves and flower. Roots, stems, leaves, they are known as the vegetative parts, and the reproduction by root, stems and the leaves is known as the vegetative reproduction. But when the reproduction takes place with the help of the flower, such type of reproduction in the flowering plant or the angiosperm is known as sexual reproduction. The flower that encloses the reproductive part of the plant means male and the female part. Therefore, the flowers are the reproductive organ of the plant. Types of flower. In most of the flowering plants, male and the female reproductive parts are present in the same flower. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. The example is mustard and China rose, in which both the male and the female parts are present in the same flower. There are other flowers in which either male or female organ is present. Such flowers are called as unisexual flower. The very common examples is papaya, watermelon, date, mulberry. These are the examples of the unisexual flower. So here you can see some images, that is the bisexual, they contain stamens. Stamens means the male reproductive part. Pistil means that is your female reproductive part. So this is the pistil, that is your female, and this is the stamen present on the same flower, that is known as the bisexual. Hibiscus means the China rose. And here that is your pistil and this is your stamen present on the same flower. The example is mustard. And this is your muskmelon, that is a unisexual, that only that particular female part is being present. And here are some more images of the unisexual and the bisexual, that is the corn, papaya, very important example. Cucumber is there, which are having two plants. One is the male and another is the female. But here that is in the mustard, the male and the female present in the same flower. Similarly, the rose as well as the petunia. Structure of typical flower. A flower is born at the tip of stalk called pedicel. Pedicel expands into fleshy, swollen upper portion called as thalamus, and the typical flower consists of four whorls, that is callus, Kolodar, gynosium. The another name of gynosium is stamens and male reproductive part. Gynosium, pistil, carpel, and female reproductive part. So in this diagram, which is known as your longitudinal section of the flower, you can see this stalk-like structure. This is known as the pedicel, which becomes swollen. The upper portion of that pedicel, when becomes swollen, is known as the thalamus, on which the four whorls of the flowers are being arranged from outer to the inner side. The outermost is your callus, that is your sepal. The one unit of the callus is known as your sepal, followed by the bright colored kolodar, that is your petal. Sepal and the petal, they are the non-essential parts of the flower, whereas the stamen, that is your male reproductive part, consists of anther. This is the bilobe structure, which is the anther, and this is the thread-like structure is your filament, is the stamen, that is the male reproductive part, and this is the pistil, that is the stigma, style and ovary. It is the innermost whorl of the flower. And when the flower is having both the stamen and the pistil on the same flower, it is known as the bisexual flower. And if either of one is being present, then the flower is known as unisexual, and the pistil and the stamen, they are known as the essential part of the reproduction, whereas the petal and the sepal, they are known as the non-essential part of the reproduction. So the outermost whorl of the flower is callus, It is formed of a green colored leaf-like structure that is called as a sepal. This is one sepal, this is two, and so on. And the main function of the sepal is to protect the flower in the bud condition. So they have to enclose that bud and they protect the flower during the bud condition, and sometimes because of the green color they also helps in the photosynthesis. The next one is the Kolodar, that is the formed of a colored petals. As you can see, these are the bright colored petals which also have a nectar, and that is inner to the callus, and they are bright and they serve to attract the insect as well as the birds for the pollination, which is a very important process during the sexual reproduction. Gynosium, it is the male reproductive wall of the flower, and they lie within the corolla, and it is formed of stamens which consist of two parts, that is the filamentous, that is the thread-like structure that is called as the filament, and the swollen bilobed like structure that is called as an anther. And when the anther mature, they will produce the pollen grains, and they pollen grains will form the male gametes, which will be fall or which will be transferred during the pollination. The next is your gynosium, which is the innermost wall, that is your pistil. It is the reproductive, female reproductive part of the flower. It is formed of carpels, which lies in the center of the flower as a flask shaped structure. So this shape is as a flask. So it is made up of three parts, that is the upper terminal part which receives the pollen during the pollination, because the stigma that is sticky and they will fall on the stigma, and from the stigma the pollen tube will be developed from the pollen grain, which passes to the middle elongated part, that is your style, and reaches to the swollen bottom part, that is your ovary, which contains the ovule, and each ovule has an egg. So the fertilization takes place there when the pollen tube along with the male gamete will reach to the ovary where the particular egg cell, or you can say the female gamete, is present. So these are the four worlds of the flower. The flower is the, you can say, the reproductive part of the flower which helps in the sexual reproduction. And in our next session, we will discuss about the process of reproduction, that is how the gametes and form, that is pollen grain formation, egg formation, then the pollination means the transfer of the male gametes, and then the fertilization, then the post-fertilization changes will be there, that we will discuss in our next session. Till then, stay home, stay happy. Thank you.